Well, good afternoon. Today is February 16th, 2026. This is the Rowan County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's a special meeting today. We're grateful to have you here. Glad to see all of your smiling faces, and good to see a room full today. It's been the tradition of this board over years and years and years. We begin our meeting with a couple of things. Number one, we're going to have a prayer. We call it a solemnizing prayer, and I always define that. Solemnizing prayer is a prayer for the commissioners. We value what we do, and we put a lot of effort in what we do, but we don't know everything. So we have our chaplain come and pray for wisdom as we are looking to make decisions that are in the best interest of everyone in Rowan County. So we'll have our chaplain come and do that, and following that, we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance. So commissioners, if you'll join me, we'll get started.
Before we pray, I thought about all the snow that the Lord gave to us. I thought about what a great God we have, because I understand that every snowflake is different. That make you think a little bit. Only God could do that. I thank you, county commissioners. Thank you for what you're doing. We're going to pray. Father, thank you for this day we have today. Thank you for the privilege and honor to pray for our county commissioners, dear Lord. We thank for them, dear Lord. We thank for the time that we spent with them, Lord, the prayers we pray for them, dear Lord. For this meeting tonight, we pray you give them the wisdom they need to make the right decisions. I thank for all the time and effort they put in, dear Lord. Thank you for the work they do, dear Lord. I pray you bless them and strengthen them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chaplain Taylor. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us. Let me see. So we had some additions to the agenda. The additions that we have is an item. Let me see where it is. I thought I saw that. Okay. All right, we'll make it item II. We've got two additions to add 2 seats to the Agriculture Advisory Board. That'll be under consent. I tell you what, can we put that on the active? Because we're probably going to try to fill those tonight as well. So let's make that G, well, G is financial report. EFG 8. Let's make that item H.
Are you wanting to add it during the boards or number?
Yeah.
You'll probably do it before.
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah. Let's do that. Thank you, Mike. All right, and then we'll add as item II, set a public hearing for personnel ordinance text amendments. That will be item II. Okay. Friends, do we have any other additions or deletions?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull item G and get clarification on what this property that we're supposed to purchase.
G on consent?
Yes.
All right, well, let's do that. And then add that on the active to H. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right, we'll make that item H.
All right, also on item I, I've got a little problem with this. I don't think we need to be buying furniture before we even finish the project. I'd like some clarification on that also.
All right, let's pull that, and we'll make that item I on the active. Does that work?
Sure.
All right. Any other changes?
No.
All right, then do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and then, let's see. That's all that. Before we get going, I would like to welcome, this is our first time here, so everyone be on your best behavior. Janet Briggs is a reporter for the Salisbury Post, and this is the first time she's been with us, so be nice. All right, everyone be nice. Don't get us in trouble. So welcome. We're glad you're here. Where are you from Rowan County? Where are you from? Nashville, Tennessee. Well,
Why would you want to come here?
Oh, a lot of reasons, right? Well, good. Well, welcome, and we hope you find your time profitable. All right, we have public comment. Let's see.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Motion to
Yes,
approve the
yes.
agenda
All right,
as
so
amended.
we've changed consent a little bit. So motion to approve the consent agenda
So moved.
in a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, now public comment. We got, Jim, you're gonna have to, how do you pronounce your last name, Jim? Fetchero. All right, well, come on up. Jim's gonna talk to us about train service. So welcome, we're glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to speak to the board about this issue, which I think is very important. And hopefully I'll convince you how important it is. I'm Jim Fetchero, president of All Aboard Charlotte, and we're part of the Carolinas Association for Passenger Trains, also known as All Aboard Carolinas. It is our goal to work towards better passenger train service for all citizens of North Carolina. In 2023, the NCDOT Rail Division implemented a new train schedule, adding a fourth Piedmont train that runs between Charlotte and Raleigh. But in doing that, in order to try to keep the schedule below 3 hours, they eliminated certain stops. So the regular scheduled trip time between Raleigh and Charlotte is 3 hours and 10 minutes, and on the trains they skip stops, it's just under 3 hours. They skip the stops of both Kannapolis and Salisbury and other places to save 12 minutes. We don't think that's a good idea to deny the passengers here opportunities to ride the train, and we have talked to the NCDOT rail folks, and they've said, we've changed it, it's going to stay that way. And you're not listening to us. So we're here to ask you to help us put pressure on the rail division to add these stops back in, that all trains stop at all stations. This scheme limits the ability of someone coming to the VA for an appointment. It limits the ability of a family day trip to the Transportation Museum at Salisbury and in Spencer. Students returning home or to school in Greensboro, Durham, and Raleigh have limited options. For Kannapolis, it limits the ability to work late at the research campus. For both cities, it limits the opportunity for leisure or business travel. I feel it's very important that the service we pay for with our tax dollars is available to all who want to use it. We want to see all trains stop at all stations. And we've made our comments clear to the rail division, but it's going to take your help to get them to see the error of their ways. The only way we're going to correct this situation is by asking you all to talk to the local elected officials, state officials, and the DOT officials, and get them, put pressure on them to make the train stop. It's a very easy step to do, and will go a long way to restoring full service for all your constituents that use the trains. We brought a package of information. I don't know if they've handed them out to everybody. It gives you background information and some history of it and whatnot, and you can read that. Our email address is in there. So thank you very much for your attention and consideration, and if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Chairman, before we go on, I know I'm not supposed to ask him questions or make comments to the gentleman, so I'll make them to you. I rode the train Friday and Sunday for the very first time, and I agree with this gentleman because it is really frustrating that we don't have an early morning train that stops at Salisbury. And it would be good. And I gotta tell you, I got on at Cary and got off at Cary and got on at Cary. That train Friday night and Sunday was packed.
We'll talk to Salisbury. I would assume that's changing a little bit when they get all their construction done, but I don't know. But thank you for being here. Next, Bobby Kemp. Bobby, good to have you here, as always. Welcome.
I won't be but just a moment this afternoon. Different subject than what I've been here before with. As y'all know, I am a veteran. I know Mike's a veteran. I've been looking into a program that could actually help our veterans. Where I would need the county support at would be on property. I've been talking to some of our veterans and helping people. Some of y'all haven't been around this area all your life like I have, but I remember the time in Kannapolis, Charlie Cannon had a plan when the veterans got out of service at World War II. They needed a job, they needed a place to stay. So he built what he called a GI house, which was nothing but maybe an 800 to 900 square foot home, a small 2-bedroom, living room, and a kitchen area in it. And he gave the veterans a job, and he gave them a place to stay. We can also do that for our veterans. We can, and the county has some property I've already checked in through the tax office that's available. It's tied up with separate, different things that's holding that property up. I think we can clear that property up. And I've also talked and looked into grants. There's all kind of grants for veterans. We can get grants to help this project work. My idea is if we can home 6 veterans, now some we cannot help, but we could try to get them rehabilitated and get them some help that way. But a man that's on the street, don't have a home to stay in, we could, through the county, we could work to help him get a home to stay in, help him get a job, and there's plenty of jobs in the county, give him a period of time to get back on his feet as to where he can get his own place to stay, then we can put another veteran in that home. I hope to come back in front of you maybe March or April and have some figures put together for you, but I wanted to just run that by you this afternoon to let you know what I was working on, and I'll get back with you, and I appreciate y'all listening.
I'd like to talk to you about that, Keena. Yeah. All right, moving on, we'll move to our agenda then. We've got some special recognition tonight, our Civic Leadership Graduation. This is an exciting night for us. Aaron, not everyone that is here is in that. Why don't you give an explanation about this program?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a program, this is the second year. This is something that Commissioner Caskey was interested in doing, and it's to provide citizens who are interested in county government to come together, and it's 8 classes, and they get to go to different departments and learn about what the county does.
All right, good. Commissioners, if you'll join me out front, we'll present these. So we met a lot of you tonight, and everyone that I talked to, I let you know that we'll call you up one at a time, and we'll ask you what is one thing or the most exciting thing or the most surprising thing that you learned while you were in this class, okay? Doesn't have to be yeah. They'll stay up, and you guys just kind of balance out around here, and then we'll get a big picture here at the end. So we appreciate your investment of time here, and so we'll get going with the presentations. First is Patricia Durham. We're 0 for 1, guys. It'll get better. Our friend Connie. Connie is a staple here. She's the only one with reserved seating here with the county. Connie, what's your favorite thing?
I learned about the helicopters out at the airport. Oh my God, they're cool.
Did they give you a ride? No. Of course not. All right, next, Tracy Gardner.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I think the most rewarding thing that I learned, or the best experience that I had in the program, was going to the health department. I was really impressed with all the services that Rowan County provides for its citizens, and also was very excited to learn about the move to the new facility. So that was a very rewarding experience, and I'm grateful to be a part of this program. Thank you so much.
All right, Misty Goins.
So I think my favorite thing is getting to see the airport, but also the challenges that you all face every day. We played a game. That game was very challenging when you're trying to figure out the budget. Yes, like we appreciate all that you all do. That was very stressful. And all the things that come up in spur of the moment, and you had to navigate that. So I just want to say thank you for all you do.
How much over budget were you? On budget, okay. Maybe we'll hire you as a consultant. Jason Henson. Jason?
What I found most fascinating was how enthusiastic all the employees were. No matter which department we went to, everybody enjoyed what they did there. The library is definitely not my cup of tea, but the people who were working there, they loved it. So I'm excited to see that.
Good, thank you. Andrina Shantay Johnson. Welcome.
I would have to say, well, I've been here for years now, since I was a teenager, but I always thought the airport was like a Mayberry-ish type airport, but I learned that it wasn't. It is a very nice place, as well as the library, because you can do so many wonderful things from home, from the library, as well as the things that you can do in the library. So the whole class overall was
You're going to learn, you just can't say anything. Someone, yeah. Thomas Gray Johnson. Thomas?
I did not know that per North Carolina state law, you had to have a balanced budget.
Yeah, how about that? Maybe federal government should do that, eh? They have failed, yeah. Charles Michael Julian.
The budget game that we played was very interesting to have to balance the budget at the end of the night with all of the things that come up. So that was very interesting. I realize it is a very tough job.
Bobby Kemp.
I would have to say that everywhere we went, people presented themselves real well, telling what they did in the county, what their position was. I particularly liked what Justin Mounts was talking about, the speech he had on veterans that night over at the Plaza. But, folks, I'll be honest with you. I think the highlight of the whole show was Mr. Church and how well his staff fell right in and just led the way and took care of everything. There it opened doors for us, explained things to us. From there, from the start, all the way to the finish. So, thumbs up, Mr. Church. You did a great job.
John Leatherman. Bobby, come back up here. You're not done. Got to stay up here with the group. Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed the, seeing the community center, and I enjoyed the budget game.
Carla Leonard.
I think that more than anything, it reinforced there are no single issue items in the county. Everything is connected. And so it's really important to look at the county holistically.
Karen Michelle Lightfoot.
I really enjoyed the program. I felt like sometimes Aaron and his group wanted us just to hurry up and go home because we were so interested in the topics. So I appreciate the opportunity to meet all of our respective classmates and hear your different opinions and ideas and thoughts about what happens in Rowan County. And one thing that I did utilize going forward is the information regarding the Veterans Association Veterans Group over at the event center. I didn't want to say the old mall, the event center. I've been able to use that and share that with veterans in our community, and it's been rewarding for them.
Karen, my sister's name is Karen, and you're the only other Karen I've seen spell it with a C like my sister, so I feel kind of close to you. So, yeah. John Edward Mangler. Hey, John, all right. Luke Miller. Good job, Luke.
I'd say the coolest part was learning that there's over 150,000 people in Rowan County, and that the county is responsible for just north of $256 million in y'all's budget every year. So I'm a numbers guy.
We spending that much? No. No, we're not. All right, Lori Nesbitt. Lori said her husband went through this last year, so you guys are super smart now.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this program. I learned so much. Like he said, my husband did the program last year, highly recommended it. So when the application process came out again, he said, you have to do it. So I did. One of my favorite parts was going to the airport. I thought that was very cool. And also the animal shelter.
John Schaefer. John?
One of the advantages to being at the end of the alphabet is you don't have to stand through this whole thing. So, I think, like one of my classmates said, the highlight of the class for me was the enthusiasm, the competence, the knowledge, and the sharing of their abilities of all of the staff members that we encountered during the 8 weeks. It was truly amazing.
Susan Sizemore. Susan not here? Well, Timothy Michael Trogdon.
Hello, I'll be short. We had a lot of meetings so we learned a lot of statistics and things, so it's hard to remember. But one important statistics, a lot of veterans information, in 10 years, the veterans coming here have tripled the number of veterans, which was kind of surprising to me that it had tripled in 10 years. My dog, I adopted him from the shelter, so I really enjoyed visiting the shelter and some of the information we learned there. The 911 call center really impressed me a lot. And I think the most important thing I visited was the health center. I didn't realize how congested and crowded they were and why they need to move over to the new facility on Jake Alexander Road, which is going to, I think, be really nice for them. So that was my favorite, I think.
Lithonia Williams.
Okay, well, as my further classmates mentioned, I won't say the town with the M name, other than to say that I was really impressed with the airport, because I too, coming from the Poconos, kind of thought, that's probably an old sign. They don't really have an airport here. But, but anyway, I was really impressed with that. So I'll just say the Mount Airy. Okay, we'll leave it at that. But that was really impressive. The other thing that I really got a vast knowledge of how large amounts of money can go one place here, there, and the other, and then something comes up, and you've got to stop here and go to something that's more important. So I enjoyed the Salisbury Monopoly game of balancing the budget, and because I was always terrible at math. I actually didn't understand the principle of math till I got out of college, and that's really sad. But anyhow, I was impressed with that.
Some of you may be surprised we have running water in Rowan County. And indoor plumbing. That's right. Thank you. We do. Not in this building, but we have to go across the street. Yeah. Yeah. That's why Jim was late. Gene Willis. Gene, welcome.
I think everything was said, but I really enjoyed the fact that our animal shelter is a no-kill shelter. They restore, and I thought that was beautiful with the animals. And also, I was amazed at our armored car. That was really nice. So I enjoyed the program. Thank you.
We rent out the armored car for weddings, so if anyone is interested, yeah, it might be good. All right, do we have anyone?
I'd be happy to.
Yeah. All right, so let's have you guys kind of fill in here and do the best we can do. Don't say it. Do not say it. All right, let's give them a round of applause.
The middle is not very stable, so I'm like, let me get on the edges. Sorry.
You're okay. You know, I wanted to say, if you graduate from this tonight, you have to stay the whole meeting, by the way. Oh, no, we weren't kidding. All right, a little bit. I did want to say a couple of things, and this is really to honor one of our commissioners. You guys have mentioned two things, the animal shelter and the airport. You guys are seeing what you see now. It wasn't too many years ago. I hate to even say the word. It wasn't too many years ago that we still, I don't even want to say it, we still had a gas.
Use a gas chamber, that's what he was trying to say.
So what that has changed into, what you saw, is kind of a local miracle. We've had benefactors that have a heart for that and have donated millions of dollars to turn that facility. It's not technically a no-kill shelter, but Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, we've kept the statistics since then. I think we have like the third lowest number of euthanasias in the state, and it's behind a couple of coastal communities that we have thousands of animals that come through, and the communities that we are third to have maybe 100. So what has happened, and Craig has been at the center of that, before we ever got here, it was a hot topic, and it's not anymore. We're really proud of what that has turned into, and Craig took a lot of heat, so he deserves a lot of credit on that. And then also the airport. Our airport was kind of,
Mayberry?
well, I'll say Hooterville. And it has really turned into something that we can all be proud of. It's gotten so good that we've renamed it to a regional, Mid-Carolina Regional. We have a great director for our airport, proud of what she does. And guess who was at the center of that and the chair of the airport board when all that vision became heading in a better direction? That was Craig as well. So he's done a lot for this board, and that's just two examples of some things that he's done. So Craig, thank you. All right, let's move on. Regular agenda item, public hearing for North Hill. Yeah, you missed it. Oh my goodness. All right, Jay.
Yes, I think we have Connor Cruz, who's the attorney with this. And I'll introduce Connor, is an attorney. He's been with the School of Government and been in private practice as well, and has served and helped the county alongside Mary Nash Rusher on some borrowing that the county does. And so we trust this firm and do a lot of work with the firm, and have always appreciated historically Connor's work with us in the county. So I think he's going to do the presentation and explain what we're doing tonight, and then I'll follow up with any answers to questions.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Connor.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jay. Good evening. As Jay said, I'm Connor Cruz. I'm with the McGuire Woods Law Firm in Raleigh. We also are the county's bond counsel, but for purposes of this agenda item tonight, appearing on behalf of our client, North Hills Christian School. We are representing North Hills in a proposed borrowing of tax-exempt debt through a bond issuance by an entity called the Public Finance Authority of Wisconsin. The Public Finance Authority of Wisconsin is a governmental entity there that issues 501c3 bonds for the benefit of nonprofit organizations across the country, including 501c3 schools like North Hills. I'm joined tonight by several folks from the school: Maria Lauder, the executive director of the school; Mark Lotva, the board chair; and Keena Grubb, the treasurer. And so you might ask why we're coming before you tonight. We're here to ask you to hold a public hearing, and that's to satisfy a requirement of the federal tax code for interest on these types of bonds to be exempt from federal income tax. An elected body with jurisdiction over the place where the bond finance facilities are located, so in this case that would be the county, that elected body has to approve the issuance of bonds following a public hearing. And so the county, as I detailed in the memo, we're asking that the county hold a public hearing on the proposed issuance of these bonds and then approve the resolution as presented to the board. Holding the public hearing and approving the bonds doesn't subject the county to any liability. This is North Hill's debt, and they're going to use the proceeds of this debt to do two things. One is to refinance some prior debt that they've used to improve their campus over the last 10 years. And the second thing that they're doing is commencing on a construction project there for a new building addition on campus. And so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the borrowing or about the county's action or the public hearing, but I would request that the commission hold the public hearing, close the public hearing, and then consider the adoption of the resolution as presented to you.
All right, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. How much money are we talking about?
The school is proposing to issue to be the beneficiary of up to $18 million. However, that is a not to exceed number, and currently we're waiting for bids on the construction to come back. So I don't anticipate that it will be that high, but that's to give the school some flexibility. The tax code requires that we have a not to exceed number that's approved, so that's why that number is there.
Thank you.
Why do we have to prove this if it's a private school and we have nothing to do with, right now we don't share any money with them?
Yes, sir. That's purely a function of the federal tax code. And so there's a law called the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act of 1982. And what Congress did there was say that if bonds are going to be, interest on bonds is going to be exempt from federal income tax, we want the jurisdiction where that finance facility is located, the elected body, to approve or deny the issuance of those bonds, even though that entity has no liability to repay. So it's really purely a function of the federal tax code that we're coming to the county tonight. This would be done, for instance, in another context, for instance, for a 501c3 hospital or other nonprofit organization that would seek to be the beneficiary of similar types of bonds.
Thank you.
Is this done pretty regular across the state?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, then we will hold a public hearing. We'll open the floor. If anyone that is here would like to comment on this request. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and commissioners will need to approve this and also approve the resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the County of Rowan, North Carolina, approving in principle the issuance not to exceed $18 million of Public Finance Authority education revenue bonds for North Hills Christian School. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Connor.
Sounds
Thank
like a
you,
great
Maria.
project. Good. Scott, welcome. Usually when you're here,
It's good news.
it's good news.
Oh, it's usually promising news. I try to keep expectations reasonable, but yeah, promising news. Pull up the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, board members, for hearing this request on behalf of Project Paddock. This is an existing manufacturing operation. They currently have operations in another county in North Carolina. seeking to relocate, hopefully to Rowan County. They're looking for a location to expand their manufacturing capabilities, and again, they are considering a property right now in Rowan County for this new facility. And we were told if Rowan County is chosen, they'd be looking at 25 new jobs over the next 3 years. And the company would also invest about $32 million in both real and personal property during that time. They have a pretty aggressive timeline. We'll see if it comes to fruition, but they're hoping to begin operations in early 2027 for this project. And currently, under your existing policy, they are eligible for a level 1 grant that is equivalent to 40% of the increased tax revenue over a 5-year span. And I know that this board understands this, but just want to make the public aware this is a situation where there is no money up front. They have to pay the taxes on the new investment, and they get a portion of that back as a grant over this 5-year span. So again, no upfront money. But the company is requesting assistance under the county's current policy, of course, that being that level 1 grant for the project. I did include some numbers in your packet, and those numbers are based on the county's current tax rate of 58 cents, and also the company investing $17 million in real property improvements by the end of this year. They want to invest a total, again, of $22 million $15 million in business personal property, and that's by the end of 2028. But they would have an initial investment of $7 million of that $15 million by the end of 2026. Using those numbers, we also tried to factor in depreciation using the depreciation schedule for 2026 and assume 12-year lifespans for all the equipment involved. But with those numbers, I think that what the county is looking at is about $819,000 in tax revenue collected over the first 5 years, and then an incentive grant totaling about $328,000. That will leave a net to the county of about $492 million. Spread that over a 10-year span, it's about $1.6 million in property tax revenue. Of course, you subtract that grant we previously mentioned, that leaves a net to the county of about $1.2 million. So to summarize, it's again $32 million of new investment in the county, 25 new jobs over 3 years, and about $1.2 million of additional property tax revenue to the county over 10 years. And also it's an opportunity to bring another manufacturer to Rowan County. And just to, again, give you an idea, I should have talked about this earlier, but regarding the jobs, they're mostly metal fabricating type jobs, a few mechanical positions, and also painting type positions, so blue-collar jobs. But again, we hope you'll consider this request. And once public hearing is done, we ask you to consider approving a level 1 grant for this project.
Any wage information?
Yes, sir. We were told the average wage for these new positions is a little over $81,000.
Really?
Yes, sir. The low end is around 70, and the high end is around about 125,000.
Any questions for Scott? All right, then we'll have a public hearing on this. Anytime we do an incentive grant, we open it up for the public to ask any questions or give an opinion they may have. So we'll do that right now. And if anyone would like to talk on this, please feel free to come up. All right, hearing none, then we'll close the public hearing, and then we would look for a motion to approve the economic development grant for Project Paddock. A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, thank you. Tell them thank you. You know, we appreciate it, sure. Greg or William, which would you rather go by? Which would you rather go by?
Good evening. With us tonight is Philip Steele with ADW Architects. He wanted to join us tonight, share a presentation. Last time we came about our ag storage building, we had some questions. Commissioner Green, you asked if we could be larger. We sent our architects back to the drawing board to see if they could fit that in our space, and they came up with some updates. So this is just an update to what we heard a few months ago. are requesting with approval that we can go to bid. Thanks.
All my wife's boxes from Amazon.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. What we're going to do is recap what we presented a few months ago on the egg center, the egg storage center at the Rowan Community Center. And then I'll kind of show you what the alternate looks like, and then open up for any questions that you may have.
Hey, pull that mic up just a little bit. I don't think we're getting you. There you go.
A little, okay. So again, we're looking at a pre-engineered building, and it's approximately about 3,000 square feet. Again, this was the base bid, and it's just behind the community center, as you can see on the site plan. Again, it's about 3,000 square feet. We do have 3 overhead doors, 1 man door. It does have not temporary heat, but it does have unit heaters. I think Commissioner Green, you mentioned that before. So it does have a little bit of heat for the winter months. We also have an alternate. We have 4 skylights, as you can see from this plan as an alternate. We do have some large fans. Those are part of the base bid. Again, here's an elevation looking at the center, and you can kind of see we have an awning, the 3 overhead doors. Again, we're looking at the base plan, and then the skylights are as an alternate. Okay, so this is the add alternate. We added on 1 bay, and it brings up the square footage just a tad over 3,600 square feet. So this would be the alternate here to give them more storage. And we also added an overhead door would be part of that alternate, as well as some light fixtures in there as well. Just kind of shows you what it looks like with the added alternate. Basically just 1 bay. And we did add another skylight for another add alternate for that. Okay, so the building cost right now is just a little over $507,000. The site work includes all the site amenities, landscaping, some parking, ADA parking, and that's around $67,296. The add alternate skylights that I just showed you is around $4,841. The add alternate additional bay, again, that's just that 1 bay, including the concrete, the extra pre-engineered framing, some light fixtures, is about just a tad under $115,000. So the total construction costs, we're thinking, again, we have not bid the project, but this is just from our professional cost estimator, is $694,810. We'd like to have a contingency in there for any unknowns during construction that the county, would hold that, and that's at 5% of the construction costs, and that's at $34,740. And we're looking at the total construction estimate at $729,550. And then you add in the designer costs, which would be the architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and site civil engineer at $67,500, for a total cost, including the 2 alternates, at $797,050.
Will you explain a little bit about the problems with handling water there?
The problem with water?
Yes, and the estimate for moving that water in this project.
I mean, all we're doing is tying into the existing main water line.
Well, last time I talked with somebody, they were talking about handling the water in the back was a big issue and was going to cost a lot.
Are you talking about runoff?
No, not runoff. Runoff's going to happen to the building anyway, but there was a collection of water in the back there. So you're saying there's not going to be an issue with that?
Yeah, there should be no issue. We're just tying into the existing water line to get in there, yeah.
Commissioner, there is an opportunity to do some stuff with the stormwater in the back, where Amy Lynn's kind of got her sunflower garden. That's where water is collecting, but it's not part of this project that's being presented.
That ain't much of a garden.
Someone tell us, I don't know if it's Jim or who, what the reason for the added bay is?
I've
Jim
requested
was
it.
asking about it.
Yeah, at the,
What they're gonna do is store stuff from the Civic Center there. And then other folks, in the agriculture area are gonna be storing things in there. And there just wasn't gonna be enough room with 3 bays in there for all the, hopefully all the equipment we're gonna have going in there for storage. And all the chairs that are gonna be in there that are gonna have to be housed also.
yeah, there's multiple departments will be using this facility. It's not just for the agricultural center.
Do you think there's any need to divide the interior so that,
Hey.
so that there are areas that are, clean as well as lockable?
Yeah, talking to Nick and Amy Lynn, I mean, they just want it wide open. Gives them flexibility. There is an overhead door over here as well to get in. And again, you got the doors.
So they're the ones writing the check for this?
They didn't want to divide it, which would be a little bit more money, obviously as a demising wall. But
Partition wall. Okay.
yeah, it wouldn't be too much, but a little bit more.
On the additional bay, the photo, the rendering, what, the little circle there in front of it, what is that? On the ground? Yeah, right in there.
That was the base bid is where that's the edge of the curb.
Mhm.
And obviously, if the bay comes, then the curb would be over here.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
Is this, I assume that's pavement in the front? It'll be paved in front of it? Or
Yeah,
is
let
paved
me
now?
show you the site plan. It's probably a little bit better. Yeah, so this area is paved. This is the demonstration garden over here. There's 2 ADA spots here. Future greenhouse would be here. And there's also again, an overhead door just over here to get in and out.
So that's just like grass there behind the building?
Yeah, this would be grass around here. This would be all grass, and there's a sidewalk here. And then basically just grass all around.
So there's no need to have doors on both sides?
They didn't think so, no.
Okay.
We'll be going into the, kind of the neighbor's offset. And also that's where some utilities are in the back, our gas main that runs, feeds all the different departments runs in the back.
So you were talking about like a catch pond that Amy was talking about for watering. Is that, I'm looking it up from a different angle here, but way to my left then?
This area here?
Where that would be?
You're talking about this area here?
Mhm.
Right now, it's just going to be a grass area.
Any comments on the skylights? I mean,
They guarantee they won't leak.
no.
Isn't that what he's here for?
It won't leak while we're around, put it that way.
They're part of the pre-engineered manufacturing system. It does get some natural light in there. So hopefully, at the daytime, you don't have to put artificial light on. But it does get a little bit of natural light in there. You can see there's no windows at all in this facility. So that's all we're trying to do.
Still going to turn the lights on, aren't they?
Still got to probably turn the lights on, yeah. We are in the process of, we wanted today get approval to bid the project. We have not bid the project yet. These dates are actually a little old. We are in the process of trying to get City of Salisbury zoning. We got to get, and once we get that approved, they're hopefully, 30 days? 30, 60 days?
We want to hold the bid until we get
We're
first
going to
round
say
of
we're going to put
comments
it out for bid
from the
next
city, so
year.
there's no surprises.
Yeah. So we'll work with them. When we get the approval, it typically takes about 4 weeks from start to finish for the bidding time. And then after that, get the contract signed, and then we're thinking about 6 months for construction time. And that's really it. I can go back to any slides, answer any questions that you all may have.
So you're asking us just to approve the project so you can go out to bid?
That's correct.
And then we could bring back the alternates and the prices we get, and we could award it at that point, what we feel works.
So do you want us to say no to skylights today or in 60 days?
You can say no on after bid day if you want, because it will be an ad alternate.
That's fine.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yep.
That's fine. They may choose to just throw them in.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
You never know.
What do you want?
I want to know how wide the bay doors are. We have a piece of equipment that has to get through. It needs to be at least 10 feet wide.
Will it be?
Yeah, that's what I believe they are. Go back. Actually, they're 12 feet wide.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they look like they were 12.
That's even better. 12.
Ben, will that work? You sure you don't want them any bigger, Ben? No?
You gonna buy a combine to go in there?
That's good. All right.
Can you give me an alternate for a petition wall?
We can. Where would you want it at?
Somewhere inside the building.
Yeah. Would you want it in the center
Between the
here?
third
Would
and
you want
It
it?
won't matter for cost-wise. The ceiling height's the same all the way across.
Yeah, just one?
Yeah, in other words, what I'm concerned about is they're saying they want to store equipment, they want to store chairs and these kind of things. If they had a place where every time you opened that big door, the wind and the dust didn't blow in, they could put those commodities inside that partition wall, and then that'll keep the dirt from getting on. That's what I'm asking for.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yep. Good. All right, with that addition, do we have a motion to approve this project to go out to bid?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Have
Yeah,
a good night.
Thank you. Anna?
All right, so we have Amy Ventnor here with First Try On to provide a GO Bond presentation regarding the GO Bonds for Rowan Community College. Rowan Cabarrus.
Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
We canceled last Monday's meeting for you.
Oh, thank you.
We knew you'd have to travel that ugly road.
Yeah, it was going to be a little bit
Yeah.
difficult getting up here in the snow, for sure.
Hold on one second.
That's all right. I've got it right here.
I've got it on there, I just don't have it loaded on the desktop.
This up here. All right. Great. All right, great. Well, thank you all for having me this evening. Again, I'm Amy Ventnor with First Try On Advisors. We really appreciate the opportunity to work with the county and help them with their debt financing. So thank you for that. So tonight I'm going to be talking a little bit about the GO bond, give you an update, and then provide some context for the impact of the bond issuance and the debt issuance on certain financial metrics, and then we may have a couple of recommendations for food for thought for the future in the end. So just first looking at our schedule, the snow did set us back a couple of weeks, so we pushed our schedule back accordingly. So currently, we're planning on selling the bonds on March 10th with a close.
Amy, this has been so long since this began. I don't know if the public or even folks in the room know what we're talking about. We're talking about a Rowan Cabarrus Community College bond that was passed in what year? 2018?
2018.
2018. So we're 8 years later, and now.
No, 2020.
Was it 20?
2020, yes. Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
that would.
COVID.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be. Because I was thinking November, but, okay, then 2020, so we're still 6
Yeah,
years.
so 2020, so you have 7 years, so, right, so to back up, so the voters approved a bond issuance of $45 million back in 2020. You have 7 years to issue those bonds, and you can also apply for an extension for 3 years. So we're inside of that 7-year period right now, and the community college is now ready to issue that bond issue, and it was for, I believe, an advanced manufacturing kind of training facility, and then also, I think, the early college building, so.
Yeah, and the reason why this took so long is we hit COVID, and we didn't know that the world wasn't coming to an end. We expected kind of a budgetary apocalypse. And so not only this project, but we put all construction projects on hold, not knowing what was going to happen. And so now they've geared back up, and here we go. Okay.
Yep. So the financing team has been working over the past couple of months to get this financing in process here, and we're getting to the point where you'll have your final approval, I believe, this evening, and adopting the resolution that provides the detail on the bonds, and then that will give us the green light to go ahead and sell those bonds in March, and then close on March 31st. That's when the money will be available for construction. From a financing standpoint, an impact on debt service. So in North Carolina, we structure bond issues level principal, so you pay the same amount of principal each year, and so your interest goes down accordingly each year. So unlike a mortgage where you're paying the same payment every month, this is a kind of declining debt service structure. So your highest payment will be in that first year, and then it will go down from there. We're right now recommending a 15-year amortization. At first, we were looking at a 20-year financing, but after reviewing the county's strong financial performance, the 15-year is very affordable. It saves you some interest cost over time, lower interest rate overall, so that would be our recommendation. So that right now, the interest rate on a 15-year blended interest rate is about 3.5%.
Excuse me, it's how much?
3.5%?
3.5, thank you.
Yep. And so that would put you at a payment in 2027 of almost $4.6 million. So in the first year, and then it would decline from there. And just one note, I believe, and Anna can confirm this, but I believe that payment has been in your budget the last 2 years. I've been waiting to see when you'll actually get to the market with the bond issue. So.
In other words, this is budgeted.
And has been.
And has been. So if the board does not approve this, then we would cut the budget. Would cut the debt service from the budget, the payments.
But
so it's kind of like.
But the whole county had to vote to approve this in whatever it was, 2018, 2020, that they wanted us to do this.
From a debt service impact, if we look at one of the things we look at is what does the county's existing debt service structure look like, and how does this new debt layer into that existing debt service? So here's just a picture of what that looks like. So the blue bars on the page are your existing debt service, and the orange is this new debt service layered in, and you'll see the blue bars are declining at a pretty nice clip over time. That's really because you have structured your debt service in the past very conservatively. So you have a couple of years in 27 and 28 where your debt service is going higher than where you are currently. But again, that's already been budgeted. But it goes back down pretty quickly once you get to 2028, 2029. In 2030, you actually end up below where you are now. And then here's just a snapshot of the county's existing debt outstanding in case you're wondering what you do have out there and what's rolling off. You'll see you have a number of installment financings out there that have a shorter final maturity on them. So it's a lot of 2025 maturities, 2026 maturities, 2027. So a number of debt issues that are coming to their conclusion.
Can we go back to that?
Sure.
So, all the commissioners, I think all the commissioners met with you.
Mhm.
We met with our finance staff and with county manager. We're in a really good financial position.
Yes. Mhm.
And so we've raised the question, would we want to pay off some debt?
Mhm.
And when you look at this, there are some debt instruments that we can't pay off, correct?
Correct.
Those would be
Yes.
limited obligation bonds, right?
Well, anything, so if you look at this call provision, the column over that says call provision, that tells you what can and cannot be called or prepaid. So anything that says current on it means you can prepay that now. If it says make whole, there may be a penalty to prepay that. If it says 2034, so the 2024 bonds, typically bonds are sold with a 10-year no-call period. So those 2024 bonds, it will take until 2034 before you can prepay those. And then you'll see the ones that are currently callable right now or prepayable, their coupons or the interest rate that you're paying is relatively low. So in theory, you could pay some of those off, but you're giving up a pretty attractive interest rate right now.
Yeah, so we can put it in two buckets. Money that we really can't pay off, money that we can pay off. So we focus on the bucket of what we can pay off, but the first thing you do is look at what the current interest rate is.
Mhm.
And then the third question is then, all right, so we have money sitting in cash that is invested in the, what's it called?
Capital management.
Capital management.
Trust fund.
Right, and so interest rates are going down, but the last 12 months, the average rate has been,
Well, on my investment report tonight, our average rate for this quarter was 3.5.
3.5 for the quarter? Yeah.
For this quarter.
Yes, for this quarter.
So everything that we.
It might be more than that. It might be 3.7.
3.7?
I've got it on my paper.
Yeah, so exchanging
Right.
lower rate of debt for a higher rate of interest wouldn't be it. Plus, it would take away flexibility that we would have. So if you're looking at a balance sheet, you have debt and, well, you have assets and liabilities. If you take asset out and replace liability, it's not changing your net position. You still have the same net worth, right? Now you got to decide, do you want to pay it off with a higher earning interest than the lower earning debt? And so we went through all these lines with her, and so we're kind of where we need to be. Yeah, okay.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I totally disagree with you.
Okay.
I don't know where you went to school or what house you were brought in, but my thing was if you had the money, you paid for it. You didn't borrow it and have the money to pay for it also. We have $117 million in unrestricted fund balance. We can take this $45 million down off of that 117. And the good part about that is we only have to pay it as they accumulate the debt. As opposed to the bond, you take it down all at one time, you start paying the interest immediately, and that's the most expensive way to do any type of financing. So I don't agree with this at all. I think we need to just tell RCCC we'll be happy to take care of our commitment, but that we'll do it as the debt rolls in, not all at one time and start paying interest rate on it. Now, that's just me. Y'all gonna do what you're gonna do, but I'm gonna make sure everybody knows that you're doing it, not me.
Well, you misunderstood.
No, I didn't. I was in that same meeting after you were.
All right, well, let me tell you the truth of what I'm saying. We're talking about existing debt and existing cash. Should we pay off existing debt with a 2.2, 2.08, 2.4, 2.86 interest rate with cash that we have? That is one issue. Now we're talking about a separate issue, so we can get into that discussion. What I'm talking about, which I think you misunderstood, was we have existing debt. That there's a question, should we pay off existing debt? So now we can begin the discussion about, new debt. We can certainly do that.
Sure.
I was talking about existing debt.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say you all are in a very enviable position where you do have strong reserve levels, but you also have low debt levels as well. So, so when we think about debt issuance, we think about what is your most flexible, funding source, which is your cash, and trying to preserve that for the unexpected, for future CIP, future projects. Your referendum, voter-approved referendum debt, that's your least flexible debt. It was voted on for a very specific purpose, so the question is, do you give up that, the least flexible, funding that project with your most flexible funding source, and then you don't really have the project that you had planned to use for the referendum debt. That kind of goes away. So that's really, from our standpoint, where our advice would be preserve your flexibility, for the future. So I did want to look at some of your debt metrics and show you what some of that impact is. So, and so these are all based on the 15-year scenario, so amortizing the debt more quickly. And if we look at where you are, and so one of the key metrics that we look at is debt service as a percentage of expenditures. And so what percentage of your budget is going towards debt service? And you'll see over the last several years, going back to 21, you've been 6.5%, 5.5%, 5.3%. So a fairly small portion of your budget is going to pay debt service right now. With this new debt service, so starting in 2026, and actually in 2026, the debt service isn't going to start until 2027. That does go up to about 8.6%, assuming that there's no increase in your budget from 26 to 27. So we've flatlined that, so this is a pretty conservative estimate. So you'll be hovering, probably in that 7.5% range for 27. And then if you recall that graph I showed you earlier where your debt service steps down, you're going to probably end up within a few years right back to around 6 or 7% of your budget going to debt. Generally speaking, anything up below 15% is considered pretty good. And on this next slide here, kind of show you where you stack up. So right now, that orange bar is where Rowan County is currently at 7%. And then if we look out into the future, this is in year 2027, you're at 8.6%. Here are some of the other counties around the state, similar in population size and general area, and you'll see you're kind of right in the middle of everyone else. And there certainly are plenty of other counties around the state that are closer to that 15%. Really, from a financial standpoint, from a rating agency standpoint, no concerns with this new debt issuance here. Another metric that we look at is your debt to assessed value. So that's the total amount of debt that you have outstanding divided by the market value of the county. And here, again, you're very low levels, so 0.5% is where you are now. With the $45 million, that will bring you to about 0.7%. And again, right in the middle of a number of your peers there. So no real concern there. And then the final metric that we look at on the debt side is debt per capita. And here you're at, so basically how much total debt outstanding, divided by your population. And so for each citizen, you're at $737 of debt outstanding. That goes up to $949 in 2027, and then we'll go down as you pay debt off. But on this metric, really anything below 2,000 is, we consider pretty, you're in a stable spot. And then just to provide some context, and this is where we're starting to plant a little bit of a seed for the future, a number of the clients that we work with have formalized debt policies. And so we've picked out some of the policies just to give you some context for what others are looking at when they're trying to look at what guides them in making decisions. And this is where you're using policies to create those guardrails so you can make good decisions of when do you use cash, when do you use debt. And you'll see, debt service as a percentage of operating expenditures. Typical policy there is anything, trying to keep that statistic below 15%. Debt to assessed value, trying to keep that below 2% or 1.5%. And then debt per capita, usually below 2,000. Would typically recommend there. Maybe that's 1,500 or whatever metric makes sense. But again, these policies would be meant to be flexible and just there to really provide that guidance for you.
And we've asked you to help us create our own debt policy.
Yep. And then, hand in hand, we're talking about the debt policies tonight, but with that, we would propose doing, and you already have a policy on the reserve side, but making sure that those two things, are work together so that you can make those decisions. And then the third piece of the puzzle is developing that longer-term capital improvement plan so that you know what's on the horizon from a capital spend so that you're not spending cash on something now that you might need it for 2 years from now. And then that helps you also develop a plan to be able to save for some of those projects in the future so that you can start to save up money now. That may mean less debt in the future that you need to issue. And so really, just some takeaways from our end. The $45 million seems to be very affordable. Like I said earlier, you're in a good financial position from a debt standpoint, and debt ratios will continue to stay in line. And then, I think looking into doing some more formal policies might make sense for you. And it's something the credit rating agencies like to see as well.
Any word from credit agency?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so we, as part of this process, we were evaluated by Moody's and Fitch, and they held our rating the same.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep, and so just to provide context for that, so AAA is the highest rating that you can get. Fitch affirmed you at the AA plus level, so that's one notch lower than the highest rating, so that's great. And then Moody's decided to keep you at AA2, which is 2 notches lower. They did have a lot of conversation about potentially bumping you up to that higher level, but they want to see, I think they specifically mentioned reserves and trying to, another year or two of keeping those at that higher level would likely lead to that higher rating down the road. But yeah, overall, I think a really strong outcome.
So they're saying they see good reserves, but they want to know.
And they like to see trends, and so this is a relatively new, it's been a few years where you've had healthy reserves, but they'd like to see that longer term trend.
So what would, so we're AA rating, is that what you did? So we're AA, so we qualify for 3.5% for 15 years. What would AAA qualify for?
So typically, each notch on the rating is somewhere between 0.05 to 0.08% better in interest rate. So you're not talking a huge amount of savings, but it does help a little bit. So maybe the interest rate would be, for AAA, might be 3.4% instead of 3.5.
So some of the conversations we had, I think it'll be a big help if you help us through creating a debt policy, finance policy. That would be great. A lot of things that we deal with these days, we've not been there before. If we look at our reserves in the past, they've not looked like this. So now we're having to not address bad times. We're having to address, all right, so, but what do we do in the good time? And there's reasons why we are in this position. A lot of it has to do with COVID. So when we agree to take on Knox debt, Rowan Cabarrus Community College debt, we budgeted for those things. They've been in our budget, and when we don't spend that money, it goes into reserves. So we're seeing more money go into reserves than we have in the past because of something very specific, which was earmarked money for debt that we didn't take on. So I know one of the conversations we had was Commissioner Pierce mentioned, I don't recall exactly what the number of the unassigned debt was.
Right, so that, you'll have your audit presentation next week, or next meeting, but right, this year it's, I think, 117.
117?
For unassigned, yes.
Not 170?
Correct. Well, 170 total fund balance.
Total,
yes.
so 117. Yeah, look that up.
Let me look it up. It's a lot of numbers in my head.
Yeah, so one thing we talked about is just throwing that number out. That number represents some mortgage, we'll call it mortgage payments that we didn't make. Craig asks a great question, and that really, I think we want to talk about that a little bit more. It doesn't have to be either or. So my mind's not made up. I think there's three paths. One is we finance all of it, depending on our rate. The other would be we've got money that we have set aside for some number of years that is there. Could we take that and buy down the rest? I don't know the answer to that. Or we pay cash for all of it. And so what does that do to us?
Right.
So we're asking for wisdom from you, because we pay you to do that.
Yeah.
You know, what is the best course
Yeah.
for us as a community? Do we finance all of it? Do we pay cash for some of it? Do we pay cash for all of it?
Right.
And, I mean, the reference was, you know, we'll do what we want to do. We won't do what we want to do.
Right.
We're asking you, as our consultant, what is the best thing for Rowan County to do?
Right. Yeah.
And I know that puts you in a tough spot, but that's what I mean to
Well,
do.
yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of flexibility. So there's a lot of good choices that you have. So, you know, we can look at shortening the amortization schedule even more. We could look at front-loading some principal and having that pay off a little bit more quickly. So you've budgeted 2 years of payments already on this. So is there a way to you know, you could issue the $45 million but pay it off more rapidly? You know, maybe that gets you to the same spot.
Can you go back to the payments? I may want to correct something.
Which page?
Her amortization.
You know, what we have, what we have budgeted was based on a 20-year.
Okay.
Now I've lost my password. So what we budgeted is $2,076,000 for the principal, and then $2,225,000 for the interest. And so just want to correct what I said. It would be a little short of the four, because that's $4,575,000. So the total amount is not budgeted for the 15-year. However, it was for the 20-year.
Yeah.
I just want to.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's 2,300,000 minus, or it'd be 4,575,000 minus approximately 4,300,000. So what is that? 275,000, be short the payment, so we would have to increase that budget line by 275,000.
So if we're going to borrow money from a bank, what kind of percentage rate would that be right now?
From a bank versus doing a bond? That would probably be around 4%. If you do 20 years, it's probably 4.3%. Bank rates are just a lot higher right now than the public market.
And I think that's what the chairman was trying to get at a while ago, is that we need to be liquid in case something comes up that we need to pay for immediately.
Right.
I mean, paying off a 2.5% loan and taking on a 3.5%, 4%, 5% loan, even I can figure that out.
Right.
That's not good business. So,
yeah, and
we should have some structure to it.
Yeah. And I think what makes your question maybe not so simple to answer right now is since we don't have that longer-term capital improvement plan and we don't really know what y'all might prioritize in year 2, 3, 4 in terms of project needs, it's hard to, from our standpoint, it's difficult to recommend using cash right now for something when you've got the voter-approved debt ready to go, not knowing what else you might need in the future that cash for, and whether that cash is there for an emergency of some sort or it's there for an opportunity that might come along. Just having that flexibility can be helpful.
Could we set that aside? I realize that's part of the equation, but could we set that aside and just focus on the big question of if we have $45 million in cash available to pay cash, we're pulling it out of liquidity.
Correct, yep.
And how does that, we're here talking about bond ratings. If we pull that out of cash, it would send us toward bonds quicker in the future because we would have less cash available. So what does that do to us from a bond rating standpoint? We've already agreed that they're watching us for the next couple of years to see if we mean, if we are this liquid.
Yeah. I mean, it does put you in a less flexible position in the future if you use the $45 million now and then you end up having to issue $45 million down the road anyway because another project came along. That does, and now you're going back to the rating agencies with lower reserve levels. So, it could, I don't think it puts you in a necessarily a negative position, but it does maybe restrict some of the opportunity that might be there for potential increase on the bond rating. So I don't. And again, it's kind of it's difficult because we're thinking of hypotheticals right now without really knowing what you might have in the future. But
well, and I agree with what Craig's saying, and Craig and I have had this conversation. The only thing I look at is that, we're getting the bond at 3.5%. We've already had a referendum for that. It's already been voted on. We've got most of it already budgeted. If we're going to spend $45 million, I'd rather use that to build a new elementary school and pay cash for it, since we don't have to get a bond for it, which I guess would be 4-point-something%. So I would like to spend our cash and not go into more debt, but I think this is probably something we're not going to get if we're going to borrow money, we're not going to get it as cheap as this. So I think it kind of goes with what you're saying. We don't really have a capital plan of what we're going to spend our money on, but I would like us to use some of our 117 plus whatever we're going to add this year to it to pay down some of the, or to pay for some things that we need to do. Because I know there's capital things that we need to take care of. But I think when you're looking at, we've already got a bond approved, which takes a long time, and who knows, you throw it out there whether people are going to vote for it or not. They've supported this. So I agree with Craig, we need to pay cash for stuff, but I don't know if this is the particular one that we need to pay the cash for.
So that's why you asked about the private debt.
Right. All right, because if, I still know that they're looking at building an elementary school for South Rowan. And when I looked at around the state, I think it was up, right now, the prices are upper 40s, like 48, 52 million. So we're right in that ballpark. I mean, I don't know what it would be by the time, if we did build one in a few years, but we're pretty close to that already at 45. And then I know they want to do a bond at some point, but that could, if we have that project we can work on with them, then we could push that referendum off for a few more years. But that's just something that I've been thinking about. Craig and I have talked about that a little bit, but it's like, I think because you're getting such a good price to borrow this money, I don't know that this is what we should spend our cash on, but I do think we should be spending our cash on things instead of borrowing in the future.
Could we, let me ask this, does this have to be done tonight? And why I'm asking that is, could you guys put together scenarios for us, kind of what our choices are. I like what Mike said. I appreciate what Craig said, because we've got the ability to pay cash for stuff. But this was agreed upon, and because it was a referendum, we get that cheaper than we would in the private market. That's why you asked that question.
You would. I mean, you'd have three ways that you could issue debt, really. You've got the voter-approved debt, general obligation bond debt. That's going to be your lowest cost of funding. You could go to the bank market, and that would be, a higher interest rate right now. And then if you didn't do a referendum and you did a limited obligation bond, then that would be a higher interest rate than a GO bond. So, when you've got that authorization, typical recommendation is go ahead and issue that debt that's been authorized by the voters, and then maybe, so that would be, in order of priority. Like if the GO bond would definitely be the lowest cost of debt that you can issue. And then with, I think, your cash right now, where it's being invested, and you said 3.7 or about, it's almost an even swap on the interest, but, you're getting a little bit better interest rates right now on the cash, so.
So timeline and dates and all that stuff. So we have to get on the LGC's calendar. I don't know if Connor wants to come up and or if Amy can answer some of these questions too, but yeah.
I mean,
So Connor is with McGuire Woods. Hope you're still with them. Okay. Yeah, and they have represented the county for a really long time, as bond counsel. So he can also answer the question you just asked, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have any
insight? I did want to make sure. Sorry. Sure.
Now, he's an attorney. Do we have to swear him in?
Thank you. But I did want to say one thing on the general obligation bond. The reason that whether it's sold to a bank or in the public markets, that generally has the lowest interest rate because of the security. The security for that debt is the taxing power of the county. So it's a promise that you will, in the event that you have trouble paying, you'll raise taxes to pay. A limited obligation bond or an installment financing contract, essentially the same thing. The security for that is some or all of the property that's financed. So for instance, in the school borrowing that you did for the limited obligation bonds, it's that school. And so that collateral is not quite as good. So that interest rate is typically higher, whether it's the bank or the public market. So I did just want to make that one point. And so GO debt in general, and this is Amy's purview, not mine, but GO debt in general, where it has been approved by the voters, has typically the lowest borrowing cost that you'll see.
So if we spend the cash now, the only cheaper way to go back on the next project is through a referendum again, or paying a higher rate.
And I did want to say one thing about the length of time that a referendum is effective. It's effective from 7 years when the original bond order was adopted. So in this case, I believe even though the referendum was held in March of 2020, the bond order was adopted in December of 2019. So theoretically, you would have till the end of this year, December 2026, to issue the GO debt, or you can apply for a 3-year extension from the local government commission, which is typically always granted. So you have up to 10 years. So.
Anything to?
But I don't want to do that because that's going to stop the construction.
And I think, Chairman, to your question of can we wait until the next meeting, we have the bond sale set with the LGC. We already had to postpone it one time because of the snow, because we couldn't come to the board for approval last meeting. So,
you know, he's been here longer than well, he and Craig. I want to be respectful of his question, and so I was wanting to perhaps give the folks that we trust an opportunity to lay out what our options are so we can make the best. Prayed for wisdom, right, earlier today?
Right. So I don't know if we wait till the 2nd, if we can have you all the information you want, and that still meets the timeline or not. That's what I'm going to refer to them on that timeline, but yes.
Yeah, I think the resolution could be adopted at the March 2nd meeting, and we would stay on schedule with this calendar. You know, we'd keep working on the documents, obviously, the offering documents, and have those ready to go, but we can't move forward until the commission approves it. So, but the 2nd would keep this timeline.
Let me just ask Commissioner Pierce, does this change anything for you?
It'd just kick it down the road 2 weeks.
I mean, does this answer some questions?
It answers questions, but it doesn't change my opinion. That's just me.
All right.
What if, just as a board here, you know, we make an agreement that, you know, we approve this and then for the next $45 million, we're just going to spend it and not borrow any more money, which would, I guess, basically be the same thing. Because I know, like, the building that we got to do, that we just talked about. I mean,
All I want's a petition wall.
petition, we can play cash for that.
I wouldn't want to handcuff us with
No,
a predetermined amount or position before we get there, but, you know, it'll pass 401, that's okay. I've dealt with it for 12 years, what's another month?
All right, what's the board want, a sense of the board? Y'all want to move ahead with a vote?
Yeah, let's move ahead. Y'all gonna do what you're gonna do.
Can't get you over? No?
So that's the next agenda item is the resolution, so.
Got a $100,000 here. No?
I got that, that ain't no problem.
All right, you know, any other questions for council?
No, I just want to say to the young lady, I'm not mad at you, okay?
No,
I told you that in that meeting. This is not directed at you. It's not directed at anybody, but if I'm representing 155,000 people, I think I need to say what I need to say. And
No,
if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
It's a fair question, so I appreciate the thoughtfulness in you asking it, so.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, my understanding, that's the presentation, so then we would move to the next item, which is item E, to approve the general obligation bond. And so, Anna, do you want to give us some instruction on that?
So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you just need to read the title of the resolution and then vote to, is that all they need to
That's
do,
correct.
Connor? Yes.
That's right. If there are any questions on the resolution or the contents, I'm happy to answer those.
All right, so this is a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of a general obligation community college bond, Series 2026 of the County of Rowan, North Carolina, pursuant to a bond order heretofore approved and providing for the form, details, and payment thereof. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
All right, is there a second? Second, Mike. All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
All right. Let's
Thank y'all.
see. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. All right, we've got some board appointments. All right, we got some board appointments. I'll go through these. Boston Heights Volunteer Fire Department, Fire Commissioners, Ken Deals applied for an at-large seat. Enochville Volunteer Fire Department Board of Trustees, Diana Elizabeth Burney applied for reappointment. Historic Landmarks Commission, Ephraim Sloan submitted application for an open at-large seat. Do we have a motion and a second to approve those three?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Historic Landmarks Commission, Local Emergency Planning Committee, Bethany Perez requested to be removed from the Emergency Planning Committee. Motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sarah Lucas Hooten applied for the Rowan County Health Department representative seat on the Local Emergency Planning Committee. And then Wesley Jackson Jr. applied for the Rowan Hazmat Coordinator on the Local Emergency Planning Committee. Motion to approve those two?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Lockville Volunteer Fire Department, Fire Commissioners Jonathan Wayne Jenkins applied for an open county seat. And on Miller's Ferry, Todd Kidd applied for an open county seat. Motion to approve those two?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Rowan EDC, the following have submitted applications for 4 open county seats. These come from the EDC. Those folks recommend who they like, and then it's up to us to approve those. They have submitted to us Dr. Anthony Davis of Livingstone for reappointment, Cynthia Minot for reappointment, Victor Wallace for reappointment, and Cliff Ritchie as a new appointee. Motion to approve those 4?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Rowan Transit System Advisory Board, John Hall has submitted his resignation for an at-large seat, and the Therapeutic Recreation Board, Nicholas Bader, submitted a resignation to his at-large seat. Motion to approve those resignations.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Town of Rockwell Planning and Zoning Board, there's 4 opening ETJ seats, and Mark Jennings, Drew Shaver, and Deline Yance have applied for those. Motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we've got, let's see. Item H. Madam Clerk, can you remind me what I put on? I think this was Craig's, huh? Oh, was that on, yeah, that was on consent. What item was it? Can you tell me? Oh, it was an addition?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
you skipped over the financial report.
We'll get to her.
Okay.
Let's get business done first. All right,
I don't see no financial report. Oh, there it is.
so on that item for the ag board, Jim and I and maybe others went to a recent agriculture debate for county commission and had a lot of great conversations afterwards. And so in those conversations, it appeared we don't have real formal conversations that are set periodically with commissioners and the agriculture community. Jim and I have spent, I don't know how much time out talking with folks, and these good folks we talk to all the time. We go on tours and stuff with them. But as far as there being a formal, we have an ag advisory board, right? But we don't, a lot of the boards that we have in our boards and commissions, we have commissioners that are liaisons to those boards, but for whatever reason, there's never been liaisons to the Ag Advisory Board, and so we are asking to do that now. They're thrilled about that idea, and I think they meet probably quarterly. We don't care if it's monthly or daily, whatever it is, but we'd have a couple of commissioners that could sit across the table or with you and say, hey, what's on your mind, and that gets to us a lot quicker. So this is to aid in communication between the county commissioners and the Ag Advisory Board and the ag community. So I'd like to make a motion that we amend the makeup of our board to add 2 commissioners to that board. So could we do that?
Chairman?
Can we get yes.
Would those be voting or ex officio seats?
I don't know. You tell me. Ex officio? Yeah, they wouldn't be they wouldn't be voting. Ex officio seats. So I'll make that as a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on that?
Huh? Yeah, I'll be.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we were here doing board appointments. I'd like to nominate Jim and myself to that board. Is that okay? To serve until we're done, and then we'll appoint 2 others.
What's going to be the length of the term?
It'd be the same as the Ag Advisory Board members, 3 years?
3 years.
3 years, yeah, good question.
Okay.
It'd be 3 years.
But we're not going to make it 3 years.
We're not, we hope to make it 10 months.
I hope you make it 25 years, but not there.
Not as a representative of the county here.
All right, so do we have a second to appoint Jim and I to that board?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Were you guys here for anything else? No, that's all? All night long, just for that? All right, well, good. Well, thank you. And then we had another item I, that Craig wanted to pull off. Craig, remind me what item was that?
Well, it's kind of vague, and we're talking with the county manager. He said that this was to approve the furniture design for the concourse. I've not seen any samples. I've not seen any information at all, and I have a trouble voting on stuff I hadn't seen.
We can wait on this. I talked to our architect.
What item?
This is the furniture design for the main concourse.
Yeah, Madam Clerk, can you tell me what item?
Aye. We moved it from consent, aye.
Oh, so aye to aye.
Yeah.
So,
And we still need to go back and do.
Can you explain what it is, Craig?
yeah, it's the furniture design for the main concourse. That project will be going out to bid soon. Our architect confirmed there's no wait times for any of the furniture that we need to go now. So we can wait until we get back bids, bring those bids to you for your consideration to approve it. And if after that we could approve this furniture design if we go forward with that project.
All right, Jay, what's the proper way of just pull it or table it or?
We can, when are you gonna have it ready? When do you wanna do it?
When we bring back the bids. So we haven't went to bid yet, and so my suggestion would be.
We just remove it.
Just remove it, we can add it back.
All right, motion to remove it.
So moved.
All right, second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then Jay, you said.
Well, we
this-
still have financial reports, and then we moved corn hour from consent item G to regular agenda H.
All right, let's finish that first.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything on this.
G.
Says approved Coughenour property purchase and associated
Yes,
budget
yes,
amendments.
yes. You want to talk about that, Aaron? Jay wants to talk about it?
Well, then tell him. He's the one that put it on.
All right, so Coughenour is a buyback of property that 20 years ago, we traded to Coughenour. We talked about this in closed session. And this is the final approval of the deed and the appropriation of the $5,000
All I need to know.
to pay for it. Yeah, and so, but this is to buy back property adjacent to the airport that is subject to a Three Rivers Land Trust conservation easement.
All right, then motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anna?
Now we get to Anna.
All right. Okay, so this is our cumulative expenditures through January. We are 6.7 million up from January last of 2025, or 6.13%. Cumulative revenues through January, we're at 143 million, which is up $236,000, or 0.17%. So some things that I noticed that were one-time things in 2025 that I think have contributed to this. We had a property sale in 2025 of about $500,000, or just over $500,000 for the AMRAP waste equipment property. So that came in January last year, or prior to January. The Sheriff's Office grant from the state, we had recognized about $470,000 of revenue in last year that now we don't have in this year. So that was another large item. The DSS, via Health, had provided a foster child reinvestment money that they're not doing this year. That was $623,000. But the largest one-time revenue was where we reimbursed ourselves for the expenses we'd already paid out for Knox of the 3.7 million. So that was 5.3 million one time, or money that's not going to be reoccurring in this year's budget. So I think that contributes to why we're down in January, or I mean, we're still above where we were last year, but why it looks like such a small gap between the previous year. Property taxes are, this is through December. So we had collected 99.8 million, which is up 5.1 million over the previous year, or 5.48%. Sales tax, so cumulative sales tax for October is the little purple dot on the screen, and we're at 14.8 million, up 474,000 over the previous year, or 3.3%. Month over month for sales tax, we were slightly down in October, $167,000 down, or just over 4%. But as you can see, this year's line, we've been up one month, down the next, so it's just very hard to predict what those monthly sales tax numbers.
So from, and maybe you'll show us, but we still have an annual projection for sales tax. Are we still on?
Correct. So our,
of course, that may have been zero.
Right. So we did not budget a sales tax increase in FY26. We left it flat to 25, which was very conservative. We ended up coming in slightly, above what our projection was, but I still think it was, at the time with the information we had, the right move for the budget process.
Any idea where we are year to year?
So yeah, so right now, if you compare last January, we're slightly above.
All right, so we projected zero.
Correct.
A little bit.
Right. Now, I will say this 24 number is an anomaly because there was something that happened at the state sales tax office, and we got this really large amount, and then they took it back, which is why on this next month-to-month chart, when you look at the next month, why you have this really high and this really low. They corrected a mistake. So as you can see on this year-to-year, we even back out on this blue line to where it's kind of back in trend with what was happening in the previous months. So. And then this is our quarterly investment report. So as of December 31st, we had $32.5 million in U.S. Treasuries and agencies. We had the $238 million at the Capital Management Trust. That's all of our funds together. That is not just general fund. That is airport, landfill. That's everything all together in this report. We do have a money market account of $3.3 million. And then to note on our interest, we are currently through December. Since July 1st, we've earned $6.1 million in interest in all of these accounts together.
And I assume, for the sake of Post that's here, that we have to divide our money up and cannot put it all in the highest rate there.
So, you know, we try to do some investments in these treasuries and agencies because you get like a longer span that you earn that interest rate, whereas the Capital Management Trust, currently, or as of December 31st, the 30-year yield on it was 3.74. As of today, the rate has gone down to 3.58. So the rates are falling. So when you can buy these treasuries and lock in at a 3.4, if the rate is falling, it might be worth it, but you've got to weigh all that out, because if the rate falls below 3.4 in 2 months, then we're going to earn that 3.4 in the future, right? So you have to kind of weigh all that out and decide when's the right time. You know, other things to keep in mind, though, is when you buy these treasuries and agencies, you've got to hold them until they mature. And that money at the Capital Management Trust, I could call tomorrow and transfer whatever I need. So you have to make those kinds of, how liquid do we need the money to be? So I will say that the Capital Management Trust also, they only invest in treasuries and agencies. They have a very strong portfolio. So they're not doing, I can't ever remember what they're called because we don't buy them. Commercial paper. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so we don't currently invest in commercial paper either, and they choose not to do that as well.
That's right.
But yes, any other reports on that? Yeah.
Can you go back to the very first slide?
Yes.
Please. So is this, where was the one that you were talking about? There was some one-time
It's on the revenues?
revenues.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine, yes. So we're trending like right on top of last year at this point in time.
But you listed about, 3 or 4 things, several $1 million.
$5.3 million, yeah.
So if you took the 5.3 million one time out, we would be up $6 million, right?
Correct.
So
yeah,
we are.
if you took that out of last year, yes.
So that really is not that numbers. So it's actually a good number that we're that close, because that's $6 million that higher than we were last year.
Yeah, because I mean, when I looked at what caused us to not have such a, because we've been having this gap, right? And when I looked to see why we didn't have the gap this month, it was those one-time things that I noticed, yeah. Or things like the VIA Health that's not going to be there, and the Sheriff's Office grant that we've spent down now, and we're not going to get that revenue back in, because you spend that money and they reimburse you.
I don't remember spending nothing for the Sheriff's Department. If I'm not mistaken, the
You want
Sheriff's.
to say that one more time?
Well, no, the Sheriff's Office grant, I think we did get in whole. And so but we've spent all but like a small, like they don't have much of that left. So that.
The sheriff doesn't.
Correct.
And you're saying that VIA won't give us anymore?
Whatever that grant was, it's the VIA Health, it's something that was last year. It's not a future year thing. So it's not in this year's.
Sounds like they cut that program.
They cut whatever that was, yes.
Okay.
So I can get with Micah and get some more
Yeah, we had to
information.
quit buying motorcycles.
Yeah.
But I think we
Well-
knew going in it was a one-time thing for this particular bucket of money.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But they're always going to be working on something new.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so we don't miss the new stuff.
Correct. Yes. I don't, not, I'll continue to watch to make sure these revenues are staying where we think they should be, but no red flags at this time.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Jay, am I caught up?
I believe so.
Yes, sir. All right. Then I'd like to make a motion that we enter into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A1 to consider approval of the minutes of the closed session held on January 20th, and as described in 143-318-10E, pursuant to 143-318-11A3 to consult with an attorney. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll get going as soon as we close the door.
Make a motion, come out of closed session.
All right, we're coming up, motion to come out of closed session, got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have one action item, and that is, the county currently has a contract with Womble, Bond, and Dickinson. Our current contract is for up to $80,000. I'd like to make a motion, we raise that to $140,000, up to $140,000. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner?
No,
Yes.
got to approve the budget amendment. to go
Oh,
with that.
yep, and then I would like to authorize our financial director to use fund balance to pay that difference.
Second.
So, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
All right, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
See, I give